On today's show, opening night at the Intuit Dome has been announced. And who is our first opponent? And our in-season tournament group has also been announced. Going to be talking about it all on today's Locked On Off-Season Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, and going to be entering my 20th season as a Clipper fan this fall. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod and subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper, LA sports, and NBA content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, including anywhere that you can listen to the podcast. If you can't watch, even though I already said that, but just want to reiterate it, make sure you comment on this video on YouTube what you think of our opening night matchup, what you think about our group, and I'm going to be asking you guys to comment a couple of things as the episode goes on. And before we get this going, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer because there's still some summer left. All right. You've probably already heard. It's been everywhere, especially in Clipper circles. But our opening night opponents are, our first game in the Intuit Dome is against the Phoenix Suns. How perfect of an opponent for the first game in the Intuit Dome. A team that Clipper fans really dislike. The franchise that's beaten us more than any in the playoffs with 3. 06, 2021, and 2023. And 2 of those times, it was in the 2-1-3 era versus their Devin Booker era. And both of those times, they dodged a fully healthy Kawhi Leonard. They almost weren't able to in 2023, and it was 1-1 even without PG. Well, in the regular season, we've gotten the better of them recently. Last year, we had a blowout against them at home. We had that Russell Westbrook game against them. We were good against the Suns last season. But this is a new season. All I had to say, though, moral of the story, I'm so happy about this first opponent. We will be there no matter what. It's a team we despise, so the atmosphere is going to be great. It's a great game. 2 teams that have, in my opinion, they have championship aspirations, I would think, but they're both not championship teams. Both Fugazi championship teams. But the thing about the Suns is we literally saw their big 3 fully healthy get swept by the Wolves. And they have a couple of additions. You know, they got Tyus Jones now. They got Monte Morris. So they got some point guards because everybody was saying, you know, they don't have a point guard. They have 2 shooting guards and KD. And that was true. It was a little redundant. They could play, you know, playmaker, point guard by committee, but it just wasn't necessarily natural for them. And it took away from, in Devin Booker's case, as I've talked about when I did the USA postgame or the USA recaps, his defense took a hit last season when he was tasked to do more on the ball. So the Suns, you know, they brought in these 2 point guards, Monte Morris and Tyus Jones. But if you think Monte Morris and Tyus Jones are going to be the difference between them getting swept in the first round to the Timberwolves and then going to the championship and winning this season, I think you're dreaming. I think Kevin Durant is on the decline, even though he's a fantastic player, one of the 10 best players in the world still, but he's on the decline. Devin Booker, he's in his prime. He's fantastic. Beal's on the decline for sure. And then the rest of their team is mid. Their big rotation is Yusuf Nurkic and Mason Plumlee. That's lunch meat, in my opinion. Now, I heard some people talking about it should have been the Lakers. Are you out of your mind? Clipper fans, I haven't heard your guys' take on it, so please comment what you think of this opening night matchup. I mean, I will be there. I don't know where I'm going to be sitting because I don't have a season ticket this year, but we will be there, and I don't think I can try to go as media. I want to be there at this game, in the first game of the Intuit Dome, and be able to be loud as can be. Test this new building and what the acoustics are like. And Ballmer built it for basketball and atmosphere, and I need to sit in the wall. Got to be in the wall, right? So we'll see. Here's the thing. I think we got a good chance of winning it. I mean, it's one game, right? A one-game situation. Who's going to be better between the Clippers and the Suns this upcoming season? I think most people would take Phoenix because they have like a 3-star setup, and Devin Booker and KD at this point are more reliable health-wise than Kawhi. And I would take KD and Booker over Harden right now. But I like our supporting cast so much more, and I'm just not a huge fan of Beal being there. I already think KD and Booker is like, again, it's like Paul George and Kawhi, but they're better off the ball, and they're better shooters. Two score-first wings that are good but not great playmakers. And they don't want to have the ball so much. But then you put another guy like that with them, with Beal, which I just don't understand. But anyway, I'm going to take us. I think we're going to be a little better than them. But if Kawhi's not healthy, then that's not true. But I'm just putting my money on Kawhi's playing 60 games next year, flat. That's my number. My target number next year is 60 games. I don't think he's going to play that 65 games threshold. I don't think he's going to make that threshold to qualify for awards. He already got second-team All-NBA this year after they said, meaning me as well, that he wouldn't be able to play that many games, and he did it. So he doesn't need to do all that. We need him healthy for the playoffs because that's what we haven't gotten since the bubble. We haven't gotten that since they've allowed fans to be there at every game in a sold-out capacity with Kawhi. So praying that this is the year, as we've done every year. But I love this opponent because, one, Kawhi Leonard should be playing unless something ridiculous happens in preseason. Now, the knocking on wood thing, it was working for a while, ladies and gentlemen, but it ended up, the luck started running out. The wood got dull. I don't know. So I don't know if I'll be doing that again next year. There's no superstition I can go to help Kawhi be healthy. I mean, that's all in the basketball god's hands at this point. But we should have Kawhi opening night. James Harden should be fired up. Mason Plumlee making his return to Intuit Dome. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to even react when he comes in the game. I got nothing against Plumlee. I just don't think he was the same after his injury. But there's going to be so much adrenaline that night. We have to win that game. Like, I would be really disappointed if we don't win that game because I'm not sure if that's going to be the first game of the season. The full schedule comes out on Thursday. So by the next time you listen to me, if you're an everydayer, I will be reacting to the schedule. So that's going to be a huge episode. But right now, the fact that we know that the first game at the Intuit Dome... Oh, I haven't even said the date for the game. What kind of host am I to not even say the date for the game? I think it's October 23rd, but let me just double check. Okay, so they just keep showing the NBA Cup group stage. Come on. Okay, they keep showing the NBA Cup group stage, but they're not showing Clippers Suns. Funny. I'm pretty sure it's October 23rd, but let's see. Clippers to host Suns, October 23rd. There we go. So that'll be our night. I hope if you can get to the game, get to the game. It's going to be special. I think we're going to win it. Because also, let's just talk about the basketball side of things, right? We have pretty good personnel for them. The three best players are score-first wings. Let me introduce you to Derrick Jones Jr., Kawhi Leonard, and Terrence Mann. That's honestly a great game to actually have that starting lineup. Because then you don't even need Kawhi to guard one of them. You could just, if you want to start Norm, though, and that's how you want to start the season with a little more offense since you got Derrick and Kawhi. But then there's the thing about, so you got three good defenders there with Zoo, Kawhi, and Derrick. But then you have our two worst defenders in the rotation. Unless Mo Bamba. See, the thing is we don't know about Bones Highland and KPJ. But let's just say that the second unit is not Bones Highland and KPJ. And it's Chris Dunn, Terrence, Amir, Nico, Bamba. So outside of Bamba, who's a wild card, because the reason I say he's a wild card is because defensively, I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews, mostly bad, right? But I don't watch him every night. And I think that's the biggest thing about getting a player on your team is evaluating their defense on a nightly basis. It's very hard to tell how good someone's been defensively over the course of a season when you only watch even 20 to 30 games of them. Because you're not even watching the majority. And defense is something you just can't quantify in numbers for me. So let me just say this. If we do go with that starting lineup, we have 3 great defenders with Derek, Kawhi, and Zoo, and then our 2 worst defenders in the rotation with Harden and Norm. But if we want to go the defense-first approach and have Norm stay in his 6-man role and have Terrence and Derek, I mean, you could have Derek Jones on KD, you could have Terrence Mann on Devin Booker, and then Kawhi can guard Beal, and you have Harden on Grayson Allen. Something like that. Or even if you want to get crazy, let's go with Kawhi on KD. Battle of the all-time great small forwards. But regardless, you have 3 options right there. And then when Nico comes in the game, he can do some stuff. Chris Dunn can guard a Beal or a Booker. I mean, I think we match up well with them. And I think Zoo is the man against Nurkic, against Plumlee. We could really just, I hope we really try to make it evident on the first night of the season against a team with weak bigs. Our third option is going to be Zoo this year. Clear cut, end of story. Because all the criticism people have of Zoo is like he's slow-footed, this and that, he can't shoot. But if we actually start utilizing his offensive strengths more, I think those criticisms will be mitigated. But coming up, going to be reacting to the in-season tournament group that we've been given. As far as the Suns, I got to dub that first night. But what about this in-season tournament? Let's talk about it coming up. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel. I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games, and the sports aren't quite hitting like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up customers all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. On FanDuel right now, the odds for the Clippers winning the West was a joke. We literally have one of the bottom 5 odds to win the West. And even though I'm not picking us necessarily to win the West, I think it's worth the bet because the odds are just so ridiculous and people are just sleeping on a healthy Kawhi. I'm sorry, they just are. So go head over to FanDuel.com and place that bet on your Clips. Why not? FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers your first listen of the day. For your second listen, enjoy the Locked On NBA podcast. There is no offseason in the NBA, and Locked On NBA provides daily basketball analysis from national and local experts in 30 minutes or less. No one keeps you as informed and entertained as Locked On NBA. Available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. All right. Y'all ready for this? So I already talked about the hopeful win we're going to get on opening night against the Phoenix Suns. First game at the Intuit Dome being against KD and Book. That's going to be special, man. But let's talk about the in-season tournament group that we've been given, right? So for those that don't know, the in-season tournament was an imitation soccer thing that Adam Silver brought in because he wants to make games in that dead part of the season in November after we've kind of gotten the first couple of weeks done. Everyone's got that like, okay, now we've seen the teams. We've seen everybody on their new teams. That, shock value in the beginning of the season is gone, and then dudes start dogging it as they get prepared for a long season. Adam Silver's like, nah, our regular season product isn't good enough, and he was right about it. And I think it actually was the best regular season product last year in like the last, 5 years or so. But the 65-game limit or the 65-game marker was a thing to help the regular season product get better and reduce load management and resting. And then the other one was this in-season tournament to try to add some pizzazz to those games at that stretch of the season. And you know what? They did. My only gripe with the in-season tournament is the force of Adam Silver to make it bigger than it is. I think it's a good tournament that adds some seriousness to the regular season games. And I think this is his effort to make it serious, is to say that every team has to put up a banner and have the championship in Vegas and have champagne in the locker room. Look, I'm cool with the championship in Vegas, But the champagne in the locker room for something that has no implications on even really your regular season, because I mean they do count as regular season games until the championship, but like champagne for a couple of regular season games and a cup that Adam Silver is trying to bring in to make it like soccer. I mean, it's just a little embarrassing to me. It's a little cringy. And then a banner, like, you know, when I go to the Sparks games and I see that Lakers have all the, these beautiful banners or whatever. And then you have that thing there just sticking out like a sore thumb in black. It's like, I don't know. And imagine if the Clippers won this. We put up a banner before an actual championship banner, and I mean, the memes would be out of control. Out of control. But, yeah, it would just be memes on deck. However, here's our group, without further ado. It is the Houston Rockets, the Sacramento Kings, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Portland Trail Blazers. My first thought there is 3 pretty solid teams. You got one great team. You got one very good team that I think is going to be very solid in the regular season this year with the Kings getting DeMar DeRozan. Then you have the Rockets, who are a rising team, kind of dependent on the leaps that guys like Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green and Amen Thompson make this upcoming season. But we need to be better than Houston. That's a major thing about this season. We need to be better than Houston. Because OKC will be better than us. And unless something terrible happens to SGA, which I obviously don't wish for because I love SGA, former Clipper, of course. They're going to finish higher than us, and they have the choice to swap picks with us or Houston. Because obviously the Russell Westbrook trade, so they have a choice with Houston, a pick swap, and with us. If the Rockets are worse than us, then they're obviously going to take the pick swap with them, which means we get to keep our pick. So we need to be better than Houston, but their pick is top 10 protected. So the Rockets have to be good enough to not be a bottom 10 pick, and I think they could be. They are an improving team. They really are. Ime Udoka did a great job with them last season. The obvious one in that group that we got to win is Portland, right? We got to beat Portland. They're in a rebuilding phase. They're not going. I still think they're going to be the worst team in the West. Those other games are going to be tough. The Rockets game is at the Toyota Center. I think that's honestly not a bad thing. We could get a win there, and if Harden and Kawhi are healthy, I think we should get a win there. And that's James Harden's old stomping grounds. And by the way, I don't think the Houston Rockets have a better player than James Harden right now. But you know what? Alperen Sengun is on the rise. Maybe this season he'll be better than him. But as of now, I'd still take James Harden. Alperen Sengun's never even played a play-in game before. So, of course, I'm going to take a guy with more experience that has shown me as easily and as recently as last season that he could still play at a high level in the playoffs. The Kings game is actually at the Intuit Dome on November 22nd. So these games are 1 week apart from each other. November 22nd. There should be a decent amount of Kings fans in the house because ever since they've gotten good again recently, they all have randomly just been coming out in flocks now for the games. By the way, I just want to let everybody know, whoever was in charge of sound last year, I gave them a hard time on this show, and they deserved it at the Clipper games because there was a large contingent of Kings fans at one game. I want to say like maybe 30% of the crowd, maybe even 35. I wouldn't even say 40 though. You can check it out. I had a vlog on it last season. It was a bad game on my personal channel. And they were trying to get Light the Beam chant started late in the game. And whoever was in charge of sound, literally in the last minute of the game, put the beat that went dun, 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 dun. Almost as if they were inviting the Kings fans to chant Light the Beam. I was appalled. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, this is who do we have a Laker fan undercover working in that department? Because that's terrible. You want to make our fan base look bad on TV or what? Like, come on, man. Feeding them beats to chant Light the Beam is ridiculous. So whoever's in charge of sound this year, I'm gonna be listening. And I'm gonna slander your ass right here on this show if you do that again. Dead serious. I'm not playing games. Seriously. This is Bombers, baby, for the fans. We got a wall of fans. Don't be playing no Light the Beam. Anyway, we got to win that game. Timberwolves on the road. That's the game where I think we most likely lose. Minnesota's a very solid home team. They're going to probably be a top 3 seed next year. So I think we just got to win those other 3 games. And I think we could do it. Here's my thing. do we even want, and this is where I said I was going to ask you questions. First off, what do you think of our opening night matchup? What do you think about the group that we have? And also, how much do you even want to win the in-season tournament? Because while it would be the first ever trophy the Clippers have ever won, I think it would only be people making fun of us. But there is the angle, like, who cares about what anyone else says? We won, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. Sure. But I do cringe at there being no championship banners and that being the first banner in the Intuit Dome. Like, can we hang that up at the practice facility? Like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. I feel like Adam Silver's really forcing that. And then, like, Clippers popping champagne. Like, that's, I already know what the memes are going to say. That's the only champagne they're ever going to pop as a franchise. Like, the jokes have already been written before this even happens. But I'm fearful, not because of the, who cares about those haters. I'm nervous because the Lakers hit a huge slump after they won. And they went so hard for that in-season tournament. Like, I remember the way LeBron was moving in those semifinals, in that semifinal game in the final. And I was like, he literally looks more athletic than the last 2 years. And I was frightened. I was like, oh my God, what if the Lakers actually do go back to the finals and win it? It would be miserable for me. But they looked gassed after that. They hit a wall after that for a bit. And they ended up being the 7th seed. I mean, no, they were the 8th seed. They beat the Pelicans in the play-in game on the road. So I don't want that to happen to us. I don't want Kawhi and James Harden going extra hard for games and, for the in-season tournament. Like, I think would be the best situation is, because every game still counts in the regular season. So the best situation is we get to the knockout stage and then lose in like the semifinal or the quarterfinal. That to me is the best case scenario. Of course, I want us to go 82-0 theoretically, but like it's not actually feasible. So that's probably my prediction. Let me know if you think. Don't call me a bad fan because I said that. The in-season tournament is nothing. We're going to lose some games. And honestly, if I had to choose which games we lose, I would rather not win the in-season tournament and hit a hangover and act like... Because the problem is, the Clippers winning a tournament like that, Ballmer and them would act like it's significant and that, it's something that us Clipper fans need to be appreciative of and like get away from what actually matters, which is try to win in April and May. So, not for me. But it's okay. We'll see. I'm not obviously, clearly you can tell, I'm not a huge fan of the in-season tournament. But here's the thing. I thought it was exciting last year. I wish we had made it to the knockout, but I had no desire to win, especially after seeing what happened to the Lakers. So that's my thing. Moral of the story, what I want is we can make it out of that group. I think we will make it out of that group. But I'd rather us not go to the championship and play 83 games. Sue me. Coming up, though, today's the day, ladies and gentlemen. The day it's open. Let's talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Intuit Dome. And something like that is going to be said on Thursday for the first time by God knows who in that amazing stadium that we now call home, because that's right. Today's the day. We've been waiting years. It's felt like a dream. Felt like something that's out of our, wildest imaginations. But not only do we have our own home, it's officially here. It's not just there physically. We can go inside for actual events now. Bruno Mars opening up Bomber's Baby on Thursday night. I look forward to seeing all the pictures and videos of this puppy in full effect. But we all know that it won't really feel like the first till Bruno Mars. I'm sorry, till the Clippers play. Till a basketball game is played in a basketball arena. This isn't a concert arena. This isn't a hockey arena. This is a basketball building. And that first preseason game, I wonder how crowded that first preseason game is going to be, actually. Because even though it's preseason, first game of a brand new stadium, who knows? I got to be at that game. But the first game against those Phoenix Suns that I relish beating so much, that I despise with every fiber of my being, that's the night. That's the night we'll never forget. The start of a new era, a new chapter in all of our lives as fans, and a new chapter of our franchise's history, one that will hopefully lead to this place being the site of our first ever title one day. And I think it's got to be, because I don't know if I'm going to live to see another stadium. This is it. We got to win it right here at this beautiful, beautiful home that we call home. Beautiful building we call home, Jesus. And Bruno Mars is getting it cracking on Thursday night, opening the damn thing. So let me know what you think of our opening night matchup against Phoenix, in which we're hopefully going to win. I think we're going to win it. The in-season tournament group, a group in which I think we're going to advance. But let me know if you want to win it badly and how much does it mean to you. And any thoughts about the Intuit Dome. If you want to see a tour of the place recently, I got to see everything and film everything except for the practice facility and the locker rooms, which I saw with my own eyes. They didn't let us film. That's on my channel, Dime Dropper. And of course, Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcast. I promised you 4 episodes this week because I only did 2 last week, and I'm supposed to do 3 a week. So this being the 3rd episode of the week, you're going to get 1 more after the schedule comes out on Thursday. So that'll be the Friday episode. But yeah, special day Thursday is August 17th? No, 15th. Jesus. I mean, in the summer, sometimes I just forget the days. But honestly, that happens to me a good amount, especially when I don't have this NBA game on this day. I'll forget dates all the time. But anyway, you can comment anything on this channel. Listen if you can't. Watch the video on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, hit the notification bells, every single time we post a video. All things Clippers, the most frequently posting Clippers channel on YouTube. It's a fact. And the most frequent podcast. Hit the notification bell and try to get us up to 6,000 subscribers, man. We're almost there. Need it. The age-old proverb continues. Go Clippers.